You know, life has a way of throwing us into storms we never asked for. For Ashley Monroe, that storm came on a hot Florida afternoon, the day she agreed to marry a man she had never met, not for love, not for dreams, but because her father was in a coma and her family's perfume company, Green Essence, was hanging by a thread. Ashley had always been the quiet one, the forgotten twin, raised in a small town with her mother while her sister, Cora, lived a glamorous life with their father and his second wife. They were born the same day, but lived in two different worlds. Then, one day, a phone call changed everything. Her father's company was being crushed by debt. The only thing that could save it? A marriage alliance with the powerful Hayes family, owners of one of the largest luxury goods empires in Florida. But they didn't want Ashley. They wanted Cora, the beautiful heiress, the socialite, the one everyone knew. Except Cora refused. She looked Ashley in the eyes and said, "You're the only one who can do this. We have the same face. Put on the dress, say the vows, and save Dad. This is your one chance to repay us." Ashley didn't argue. She packed away her heart and stepped into a life that was never meant to be hers. The wedding was set at a grand estate overlooking the Atlantic. Flowers bloomed everywhere. Cameras flashed. Guests whispered. And then the groom arrived, Tristan Hayes. Tall, sharp, silent, and blind. There were rumors about the accident that stole his sight. Some said it was sabotage. Others said it was his own brother's doing. No one really knew. But everyone knew this. Tristan didn't want this marriage. Not now. Not ever. His family forced his hand. He was angry, resentful, and worse. He had no idea the woman standing at the altar wasn't the one they promised him. Ashley tried to stay calm as she walked down the aisle. Every step felt like she was walking into fire. The ceremony was fast. When it came time to exchange rings, Tristan fumbled. The ring slipped. A guest gasped. A whisper rippled through the crowd. "He really is blind." Ashley wanted to run. Instead, she helped him. Gently, quietly. He didn't say thank you. When the officiant said, "You may now kiss the bride," he leaned in and whispered, "Don't move. Let them think it's real." They didn't kiss. They just stood there, two strangers trapped in the same lie. Later that night, Ashley was shown her room in Tristan's mansion. Not a bridal suite, not a home, just a room. The butler gave her a stack of rules, a copy of the marriage contract, and a warning. "Miss Monroe, you are here to serve the family's interest. Any violation of this agreement will cost you $5 million. $5 million. Ashley sank onto the bed, heart pounding. This wasn't a marriage. It was a prison in silk and lace. The next morning, she was summoned to Tristan's side. He didn't say hello, didn't ask how she slept. He simply said, "From now on, you'll help me. Be my eyes. And don't get in my way." Ashley nodded. Inside, she wanted to scream, but she remembered her father, lying still in a hospital bed, hooked up to wires and machines, and a quiet hope that this sacrifice might bring him back. So she said softly, "Okay." Over the next few days, Ashley followed Tristan everywhere. Business meetings, social events, family dinners. She guided him, spoke for him, protected his secrets, and in return he gave her silence. Sometimes cold, sometimes distant, always guarded. But even silence tells a story, if you listen closely enough. One night, while helping him prepare for an important meeting, she noticed his hands trembling. "Are you okay?" she asked. He paused, then said quietly, "I hate needing help." Ashley looked at him, not with pity, but with understanding. "I know," she said, "but needing help doesn't make you weak. It just makes you human." For the first time, Tristan didn't argue. He just nodded. It was a small moment, but it changed something between them. Still, Ashley lived every day with a secret. She wasn't Cora, and if Tristan ever found out, everything would come crashing down. But for now, she had a role to play, a lie to protect, a father to save, and a man beside her who was slowly, unknowingly, teaching her that love doesn't always come with roses and perfect timing. Sometimes it starts with two broken people standing side by side in silence. Marriage is supposed to bring people closer. But for Ashley Monroe, every step she took in that grand Palm Beach mansion felt like she was drifting further into a life that wasn't hers. She woke up early, cooked breakfast no one ate, laid out clothes for a man who rarely said thank you. Tristan Hayes was a mystery wrapped in bitterness. He kept to himself. Locked doors. Locked heart. Ashley couldn't tell where the pain ended and the pride began. But even walls that tall have cracks. And one morning, she found one. It started with a cough. Then another. Tristan was in the kitchen, trying to make coffee by himself. The water was everywhere. The cup had shattered. And his hand was bleeding. Ashley rushed to his side. "Let me help you." "I don't need your help," he snapped. But his voice cracked. Not with anger, but exhaustion. She gently took his hand, wrapped in a towel, and said nothing. And for the first time, he didn't pull away. He just sat there, quietly, letting her be there. Later that day, they had to attend a business mixer. Ashley was nervous, not just about playing her role as Cora, but about walking into a room full of people trained to spot weakness. Tristan, sharp as ever, sensed her fear. "You said you wanted to help," he murmured as they drove. "This is your test." Ashley didn't reply, but she memorized the entire guest list, every name, every deal. She guided him with quiet whispers, smoothed over conversations, answered questions with confidence. By the end of the night, even Tristan's cold expression had softened. "You did well," he said quietly. Ashley looked at him. "Thank you. That means more than you know." But every step forward came with a shadow behind it. Cora had returned, uninvited, unbothered. She claimed she just wanted to check on Ashley, but her eyes told another story. And when she saw Tristan smiling, even slightly, her jealousy flared like wildfire. "You're not falling for him, are you?" Cora hissed one night. "Don't forget why you're there. Don't get comfortable." Ashley didn't answer, but in her heart, she already had. That same week, Ashley made a discovery that changed everything. Her father's condition wasn't natural. She overheard a conversation between Cora's mother, Vanessa, and a doctor. Something about injections, sedatives, prolonged coma. It wasn't fate that kept him asleep. It was manipulation. And Ashley was being used as a pawn in a bigger game. That night, she wept silently in her room. And for the first time, Tristan heard her. He stood outside her door, unsure what to do. Finally, he knocked. "Are you okay?" he asked. Ashley opened the door, eyes red. She didn't fake it anymore. "No," she whispered. "Nothing about this is okay." She told him everything about the lie, the contract, her father, and who she really was. "I'm not Cora," she said. "I never was. I'm her twin. Ashley, I was forced into this to save my father and the company." Tristan stood still. No anger, no shock, just silence. Then, softly, "I know." Ashley's breath caught. "What?" "I've known for a while," he said. "Your voice, your scent, your heart, it was never hers." He stepped closer, placing his hand on hers. "I may be blind, Ashley, but I see you." From that night forward, things changed. Tristan led her into his world. He taught her how to navigate the company. She taught him how to feel again. They began eating together, walking together, laughing. One night, while she guided him up the stairs, he stumbled, and she caught him. They both laughed, breathless. "You were supposed to be my eyes," he teased. Ashley looked at him, holding his hand tightly. "And you were supposed to be my way out. But now, I think you're my home." But happiness is never simple. Josh Hayes, Tristan's younger brother, had returned from New York. He brought with him rumors and rage. He accused Ashley of being a fraud, threatened to expose her, tried to take over the company, even visited her father in the hospital, whispering lies and bribes to the staff. Tristan tried to shield Ashley, but the truth was no longer theirs to hide. Josh called a press conference. Cameras, reporters, lights, and in front of the world, he revealed Ashley's identity. Ashley stood frozen, surrounded by flashing lights and screaming headlines. Imposter, fake bride, corporate scam. But just when she thought she'd lost everything, Tristan stood up. Literally, he had been undergoing secret rehabilitation therapy for weeks, hoping to regain enough strength to stand. And now, in front of everyone, he rose to his feet, unsteady, shaking, but strong. He reached for Ashley's hand, and with all the emotion in his voice, he said, "She is not a fraud. She is my wife. She gave me back my life, and I choose her every day." The cameras fell silent, and in that moment, Ashley knew she hadn't just married a stranger. She had fallen in love with a man who saw her before anyone else did. Sometimes the people we're forced into our lives become the ones we can't imagine life without. After the press scandal, Ashley and Tristan faced storms neither of them could have predicted. The media called her a liar. The board tried to strip Tristan of his position. And behind it all, Cora and Josh were pulling strings, determined to take everything. But love, real love, doesn't die in the dark. It grows there. After Tristan stood up for Ashley at the press conference, he collapsed. His body wasn't ready, but his heart was. Ashley stayed by his bedside every night. She refused to leave the hospital, even when the world outside tore her apart. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered one night, holding his hand. "I'll fight for you like you fought for me." And slowly, day by day, Tristan healed. When he finally opened his eyes again, his first words were, "Did we win?" Ashley laughed through tears. "Not yet, but we're not done fighting." Together, they built a plan. Ashley, no longer pretending to be Cora, stepped into her own identity. She launched a new perfume line under her real name, Ashley Monroe. The first scent? Truth. It sold out in 3 days. Tristan, with Ashley's help, returned to work. Though still blind, he led with clarity, strength, and for the first time warmth. He told the board everything. About the accident, about Josh's betrayal, about Ashley's role in saving not just him, but the company. It was bold. It was dangerous. But it worked. Cora, seeing her spotlight fading, tried to strike again. She released private texts, old emails, anything to destroy Ashley's credibility. But the public had already chosen. They saw the girl who stood beside a broken man, the woman who chose truth over comfort, and the love that refused to be silenced. Then came the final blow. Ashley's father, after months in a coma, finally woke up. His first words, "Where's my daughter?" Ashley rushed in, tears falling freely. He didn't care about the scandal, the lies, the mess. He just saw his little girl, grown, glowing, and strong. And for the first time in years, she felt like she belonged. Weeks later, on a quiet Florida evening, Tristan stood once more, this time with Kane and Ashley beside him. Not for cameras, not for show, just to hold her hand and ask her something real. "I never got to propose properly," he said, voice shaking. "I never even gave you a real wedding. So, will you marry me again? For real this time?" Ashley smiled through tears. "Only if you promise to let me pick the cake this time." They laughed, and then they kissed, not for the crowd, not to save a company, but because they were in love. Truly, deeply, unshakably. The second wedding was small. No press, no lies, just close friends, her father, and soft music playing under the Florida sunset. Ashley wore a simple white dress. Tristan wore his heart on his sleeve. And when they said, "I do," it wasn't a contract. It was a promise. To walk beside each other, whether in darkness or light. To hold on, even when everything else fell apart. To love, loudly and fearlessly. And so, the girl who married a stranger to save her father ended up falling for the man who taught her how to believe again. And the man who lost his sight found something even more powerful, a love worth seeing with his heart.